Every evening at 7 p.m., Margaret set the table for three. 2 plates were used. 1 plate stayed untouched. The chair at the end of the table belonged to her husband Thomas. He had passed away 3 years ago, but Margaret couldn't bring herself to remove the chair. It wasn't denial, it was memory. That chair held laughter, arguments, quiet meals, and a lifetime of shared silence. Their son, Lucas, noticed it every time he visited. "Mom, you don't have to keep setting his place," he said gently. Margaret smiled. "I know, but it helps me remember." Lucas had moved to the city chasing success. His visits became less frequent. Work, stress, and ambition filled his days. He called often, but stayed short. Margaret never complained. She spent her days volunteering, walking the same streets she once walked with Thomas, and cooking meals that no longer needed so much food. One evening, Lucas skipped his weekly call. Then another. Then weeks passed. Margaret's phone remained silent. She told herself Lucas was busy. He always was. One cold night, Margaret felt unwell. Dizzy, weak. She sat at the table, staring at the empty chair, holding her phone. She didn't call Lucas. "I don't want to worry him," she whispered. The next morning, a neighbor found her unconscious and called for help. At the hospital, Lucas arrived breathless, panic in his eyes. "Why didn't you call me?" he asked, tears falling. Margaret squeezed his hand weakly. "I didn't want to be a burden." The words shattered him. Lucas stayed. For days, for weeks, he watched his mother slowly recover. He watched her eat alone. He watched her talk to the empty chair when she thought no one was listening. Guilt settled heavy in his chest. One afternoon, Lucas removed the empty chair. Margaret noticed immediately. Her eyes filled with tears. "Why?" she asked softly. Lucas placed another chair beside hers. "So you're not alone anymore," he said. From that day on, Lucas changed. He turned down overtime. He worked remotely. He came for dinner every evening. They talked about grief, love, regrets, and time wasted. Lucas learned something painful. Loneliness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like strength. Margaret eventually removed the 3rd plate herself. Not because she forgot Thomas, but because she felt full again. Years later, Lucas kept an extra chair at his own table. To remind himself, presence matters more than success.